Hello, everyone. It is Nigel here once again, and welcome back to another episode of System Shock Radio. Sorry for no upload yesterday. Some stuff came up, and so I wasn't able to go live. But I am doing a pre-recorded video today. Here we go with episode 65. So, first things first, thank you all so much for helping me get to 65 episodes of System Shock Radio. I would not be where I am nowadays without you guys. There's going to be a change, as I've mentioned many times before, up to this point. There's going to be a change to how we do things for System Shock Radio and Tales from the Labyrinth going forward, but we will address that at the end here. Without further ado, for today's episode, uh, I've got a real special treat for you guys. We're going to be doing the PlayStation versus Xbox debate. PlayStation versus Xbox, a tale of battle as old as space and time itself. What I'm going to do, how this is going to work, is I'm going to look at the good things and the drawbacks of both, and we are going to talk about them, and who's the winner, you guys will decide. Now, I am hashtag Team PlayStation because I do own PlayStation. I've never owned an Xbox, but I did consult both the internet and my friends and family, more specifically my younger sister, for information on the Xbox to see like what she liked, what she didn't like, and stuff. We're gonna get right into it, and this is mainly while some of the stuff is kind of generic for the most part, kind of just about PlayStation and Xbox as like brands, franchises, what have you in general. These are mainly going to be talking about both the PlayStation 4 and the PlayStation 5 and the Xbox One and the Xbox Series S and X. So that's mainly a bit more specific to those as we're going to talk about. But let's get into it. We're going to start off with PlayStation. The pros, the good things about PlayStation is the 4K resolution, which wasn't in the original PS4 model, but got added with the PS4 Pro. And we're able to stream, play games and stuff in 4K. If you have the 4K TV and everything, there's the share button, which allows me to pretty much almost instantaneously go live while I'm doing live streams. Just press a button, type some stuff up, and boom, you're live and everything. And that's how I went live when I did go live. I previously with Spiral 1 and 2, which speaking of that, we are going to be going live again pretty soon. I got my PlayStation camera, and we're going to use that to go live so that you guys can see my live reactions to everything going on in real time. Before I just had to like type it in the chat and everything, which unfortunately is kind of bush league. But I shouldn't say that. There's a lot of people who don't really stream with like cameras and stuff. But I did want the camera, and now that I have it, we're gonna go live with face cam and everything. So stay tuned for when I am going live for that. There's the touchpad on the controller, which allows you to go right around the screen and select stuff instead of having to use like the analog sticks or the D-pad to select stuff on the screen. There's the graphics, which run very smoothly, and that's because it has a very good processor. And the PlayStation really runs stuff rather smoothly. I haven't had a whole lot of frame rate issues, thankfully. Yeah, I've had some every now and then, but other than that, things run pretty smoothly. The cost, it's usually less expensive than Xboxes when you go to buy them. There's the good exclusives. PlayStation's had a lot of great exclusives over the years, such as like Ratchet and Clank, Jack and Daxter, or Sly Cooper, God of War, Spider-Man, and Uncharted, The Last of Us, games like that. Even though a couple of those are now on like PC and everything, but other than that, PlayStation's usually had pretty good exclusives for the most part. There's the controllers, which thankfully haven't really changed that much in design over the years, but that's not a bad thing because it allows for a simple design that can be ported over, and it's a really easy to use design. It starts off with the shoulder buttons, then goes down to who the faces, like the face buttons and everything, and then at the bottom are the handles, then the analog sticks, and then something in the sensor, either the like PlayStation button and what have you, like start or select stuff like that, or the touchpad like with the PlayStation 4, and starting with PS3 and PS4 or carried on, and I think PlayStation 5 has as well. It has a button which automatically turns on your console. So that's pretty good, and if it ain't broke, don't fix it. But there's PlayStation VR, which depending on how you feel about VR, this is either really good or not so good. Me personally, even though I don't have the whole VR setup, I still need like the PlayStation Move stuff and the actual VR headset. VR is still something that's pretty cool and is used by a lot of people. There's this, and then like Oculus Rift and stuff like that. So you have the option to do stuff in VR, and there's a lot of games with either completely in VR or VR adds some bonus to your gameplay experience. And then finally, there's varied models. Well, sometimes they'll release different models. If something's not up to par with the original, it'll get added in the new model and everything. There's usually slim models and other models. There's like the PS4 Pro, which is able to, like I mentioned, run the games in like the 4K quality and stuff. So that's pretty good. In terms of the drawbacks for PlayStation, you have to pay for online stuff. You used to not have to, but then they switched to being able to pay, and apparently the excuse they gave is that it prevents like scamming and stuff like that, and really reduces that. And how effective that is debatable, but you do have to pay for online services, but you get it through PlayStation Plus. But sadly, PlayStation Plus doesn't have a whole lot of bang for its buck. Now, it's PlayStation credit. They tried to change this with the new updates they added to PlayStation Plus last month. And I talked briefly about these changes that would be coming to it on a previous episode of System Shock Radio, an episode I did a little while back. Basically, it adds stuff like the game catalog and the time trials and everything, and the classics library to get more for your PlayStation Plus experience, but that stuff costs extra. I still have like the basic, the standard membership, but I may upgrade at some point. I'm not entirely sure. You can't add games to. You can't add music to games easily. Excuse me, but you can't add music to games easily, which is a bit annoying, especially because it's, for example, I play the WWE games, and so sometimes when you want to play as a custom character, either a character that you make of like yourself in the game, or like through community creation, someone who's not in the game and that you want to put in the game, like Kenny Omega or the Young Bucks or Cody Rhodes or what have you, or characters that have been removed, but you're not able to import your own music to have in there to be able to use with that superstar, and that does suck, because then you gotta select from like the generic music and find something that sounds kind of close to it. But I think you used to be able to do that with older consoles. I never did that because I was kind of a scaredy cat, and I didn't want to get in trouble for downloading music and stuff like that. Back when I was a good law-abiding citizen, I still kind of am. But yeah. So, you can't add it there easily, which does suck. There's no backwards compatibility, at least not naturally, to where you can insert your old PS4, not PS4, PS3, PS2 disc in there and be able to play games that way. You'll have to do it from like the classics library. With PlayStation 3, some models, like the earlier models, did have backwards compatibility, and they took it out later on. Why, I'm not entirely sure. I'm guessing because they set up the classics library, but there's some games that you may have on disc that they don't have in the classics library and everything, which is why emulation's a thing. Thank God for it. But that does suck that there's no backwards compatibility. The PS5s, which these three are kind of a bit more specific to the PS5s, as I was doing my research and everything, a little extra research for PlayStation. The PS5s are still very limited in availability, it's pretty much like trying to find a needle in a haystack. Like you either have to either be really, really, really lucky to find one in the wild, be really, really, really lucky to get like exclusive invitation from either like GameStop or PlayStation itself, or I think even Amazon's starting to do like the invitation based stuff where or you're invited to actually purchase the console and everything, and supplies are still limited, so you might not even get one. Or you'll have to suck it up and pay the $1,000 that people are reselling it for. Which that's the main reason why the PS5 is so hard to find, is because of like scalpers reselling it and the chip shortage, which deadly combination. And they hope to have more PS5s available to purchase and everything by I believe 2024, if I'm not mistaken. In which that is too long. That is way too long. A lot of people want to play their PlayStation 5, or want to play a PlayStation 5, especially with games coming out for it, and PlayStation slowly but surely moving away from the PS4 over to the PS5, which they do for every console. But it's still pretty is really not a great situation where PS5s are as hard to find as they are. And it's very large, and that was kind of a complaint, in where it's hard to find space for it. Thankfully, I found some for my PlayStation, but for some people, it could be kind of tricky to find space. And even mine was kind of tricky to find space because the PlayStation is a relatively large unit for the most part. And finally, there's overheating issues. One of my friends recently, her PlayStation like overheated and it really set her room on fire. So definitely not good, and you definitely don't want your PlayStation to overheat. It could set stuff on fire, as I previously mentioned, or some stuff could like be damaged, not work properly when it overheats. So overheating is a very bad thing indeed. For Xbox, and even though I am PlayStation, I try to be as neutral as possible. So I did give quite a bit of pros and cons to Xbox and everything. For example, the Xbox Game Pass, as in like Xbox Gold and stuff, it's pretty much what the PlayStation Plus is trying to be now, where it has like the trials and the backlog of games and stuff from back then, and it's got like games you can play. Xbox has had that for years, and I remember when the news of this new PlayStation Plus first broke, I'm like, oh, okay, so they're probably doing this in response to Xbox. So Xbox has had this for a while. You've been able to do this. There's backwards compatibility. And this is mainly for like the Xbox One, where you're able to play games from like your Xbox 360 or even your original Xbox. You're able to play games from there and be able to play them on your Xbox. There's a good frame rate. The Xbox, from what I've heard, run very smoothly, and what I've seen, the Xbox usually runs pretty smoothly, which is great. There's multitasking, where you're able to have different tabs open and be able to do different things. It's limited for like PlayStation or Nintendo Switch, where you're able to have the tab in the background and be able to do other stuff. You only access stuff like the store or like I believe settings. But other than that, you can't really do that with PlayStation and the Switch, which kind of sucks. It's apparently very quiet, to where it's not going to make a whole lot of noise. Therefore, you have to be concerned about, is my Xbox about to crap out? Oh, and that's kind of a problem I had with PlayStation, mainly when I'm playing like Avengers, which, to be honest, I haven't played Avengers since the Kate Bishop Hawkeye DLC dropped. I just haven't played it. I didn't really have a desire to play it, so I haven't played any of the new DLC for like Clint Barton Hawkeye or Black Panther. Or I may get back into it, but I'm not entirely sure. But yeah, when I would play Avengers, my fan would go crazy. It would sound like a jet engine, and I was concerned, like, is my PlayStation about to crap itself out? How is it about to like brick itself? Oh, that would be very bad. Which one of the YouTubers I am subscribed to, his PS3 bricked itself, and yeah, that was a very bad situation. You're able to easily stream, similar to the Xbox. And not Xbox, similar to the PlayStation, where you just press a couple things and you're live and everything. And My sister does live streams sometimes as well, and she's able to easily go into live streams just like I am with my PlayStation. And finally, there's availability. The Xbox Series X is also hard to find, but it's a bit easier to find than the PS5, which is definitely a leg up where you're able to find more Xbox Series X's in like the wild and online and stuff. In terms of cons, there's issues with overheating with the Xbox as well. My sister was talking about it a few times where she would have issues where the Xbox would like get really hot and not really be able to run properly. It's usually more expensive than PlayStation's, which is definitely a downside because you're paying more or almost for the same thing. But like I said, it's really that bad because the PlayStations are harder to find than Xboxes. There's the Kinect and that whole fiasco where the Kinect had a lot of problems, such as like not really being able to detect like dark colors, like the black shirt that I'm wearing right now. I know it's kind of hard to see, but uh, yeah. So the Kinect, there was that. It wouldn't register a lot of movement, so just a bit of a nightmare that was to operate the Kinect and everything. At least with like PlayStation, they tried when they did like motion control like PlayStation Move. They tried to go more like the Wii route where they had the remotes and everything. But hey, props to Xbox for trying with the Kinect, the motionless where it's just your body and everything. Hopefully, they're able to pick that up a lot better in the future, and they apparently kind of have with like the PlayStation VR and everything. Which, speaking of which, Xbox does not have VR, nor do they have mobile consoles. Depending on how you feel about both mobile consoles and VR, this could either be plus or a minus. But the fact that it doesn't even have the option for VR may not please some people. You also have to pay for online services similar to PlayStation when it comes to Xbox. And it's likely for the same reason. And finally, not a whole lot of exclusives. The only real like two major exclusives I can think of for Xbox are like Halo and Gears of War, or which both very good exclusives from what I've seen, from what I've heard. But a bit disappointing when PlayStation has all these exclusives. Meanwhile, but. That is going to do it for this episode and this debate. Which side are you on? Who is the winner, PlayStation or Xbox? That's up for you to decide. But in terms of the news that I have, which I mentioned at the beginning of this video, basically this is going to be the last System Shock Radio episode to be uploaded to Facebook and Instagram directly. Now, I've been running into some issues as of late with uploading these directly to Facebook and Instagram. Normally, like the YouTube exclusive stuff is the YouTube exclusive stuff, like the reviews and the crime analysis and stuff. That's that. But this stuff like this has been difficult. It's really been giving me trouble as of late uploading it to Facebook and Instagram. I've been running into some problems where either it has me re-upload or it straight up doesn't upload at all, like what happened last week when I tried to upload System Shock Radio to Facebook. So those would be YouTube exclusives as well. However, you guys will still have your live videos alternating. So obviously this week I wasn't able to do the live, but next week will be the pre-recorded up on YouTube and all that. But then week after we'll be live once again. So you'll still have your live videos and everything. It's just that they won't be every other week. Will be on Facebook and Instagram, if that makes sense. Now, I know some of you guys may be disappointed by that. I thought about like just doing YouTube, doing this stuff on YouTube, and maybe this is the confirmation. But you guys will still at least have your live videos and everything. But speaking of which, we did a whole bunch of stuff last week in terms of like reviews and stuff like that. We reviewed Star Wars Episode 6, Return of the Jedi, to finish off the original trilogy. We reviewed CM Punk versus John Cena at Money in the Bank 2011. And then we also did the John Lennon crime analysis video. So if you missed any of those, go check those out. As for this week, I'm not sure which match or matches I'm going to look at At next, I may do a tag team match because I haven't really done a tag team match yet, or a women's match. I haven't done either one of those. Might do both. Who knows? But I want to do those this week, and I want to look at Star Wars Episode 1: The Phantom Menace this week. So that is some of the stuff that we're gonna be doing this week, and of course, System Shock Radio, Tales from the Labyrinth, all that normal stuff will happen as normal, of course. But anyway, thank you all so much for watching, and I will see you guys later. Peace.